Well, I'm back in the kitchen, and today we're going to do a little catfish courtbouillion, which is basically catfish in a red gravy. And sad to say, this is going to be my last show for quite a while. I've been put on a really restrictive diet, and I just cannot do my menus the way I want them anymore. So I just assume not do them at all. But anyway, enough of that. Enjoy the show. Now I've got some catfish fillets here, and of course my fruit and seafood magic. We'll go ahead and season them up and just let them sit on the side a while, because as you know, that's going to go in last. That's some nice looking fillets too. Get them all seasoned up. Get in there, you. Looks like there's 3 of them. But that's going to be plenty because we're going to cut that up. We're not throwing them in whole like that. Alright. Next thing is chop the vegetables. And I've got here white onion, which I like to use in seafood. My bell pepper. And I got some celery over here to the side there. And we can also use some garlic, but that I didn't figure I need to take all that out and show you. You know what garlic looks like. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and chop up them vegetables and stuff, and I'll be back. Alright, we got all our vegetables chopped up. I got my cast iron pot heating on the stove with a little bit of olive oil. Normally I'd use butter in this, but that's sadly one of the things I can't have no more, so we're going to make do with the olive oil. I mean, it'll work just as well. I'm going to throw in them onions. Get them going. I'm going to throw my bell pepper and the celery in at the same time. I got that fire about medium high. Stir that around a bit. Now this is going to take me a little while to saute down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we'll be back. Alright, got my vegetables sauteed down where I want them. I'm going to add my garlic now. And let that cook a minute. Go. I'm going to kick that fire up, because after this garlic is browned up a little bit, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour to this. I got to stay stirring in there because we don't want them onions and stuff to burn. This way it gets fast and furious. There we go. That's getting there. It ain't gonna take too long. I'm starting to see a little stickage in my pot there. Alrighty. Go ahead and get that flour. That's 1. And that's 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And we're going to stir like crazy. Because we don't want that flour burning there. Don't want to stick it too bad to the pot. think I'm gonna have to grab me a little mitt there to hold on to that pot. Don't want that colliding off the stove. I'm gonna kick that fire down to about halfway now. Cause that thing making me work too hard. See, that pot keeps sliding away from me. Time to switch hands. I gotta go from the other direction. All right. If them garlic wasn't brown before, they brown now. Tell you what. Yeah, I might be able to hear a little music going in the background. Don't know if my mic's picking that up or not, but I got some blues box playing right now. Since it's Friday in Louisiana, and every Friday we get the blues box. 3 hours of the blues. All right, now I'm gonna turn my fire down to low, and I gotta open my tomatoes. I forgot to do that. We'll grab our little whirly bug. Go ahead and open that stuff up. That's going to take me a second. All right. Let me get my strainer out there. I like to strain all the juice out of them tomatoes before I put them in there. Make them cook a little bit faster. Get that other one and we'll drain this can. What I put in there was a can of petite diced tomatoes, and this can is going to be Rotel. Gotta have a little hot in there, you know. There we go. Let me drain them real quick. That takes a minute or two. Come on now. Let's go. Got people waiting on me. That's taking a little while. Sorry about that. Alright, I got them drained now. I'm going to dump that in there. Stir that around and get that browning up. Try to get that flour that's stuck to the side there off. Kick that heat back to halfway. Yeah, come off the side. There you go. There we go. Alrighty, got most every bit of it off the sides. Now what that roux's doing is adding some thickness to this. That flour, I mean. Well, it's just roux now. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna let them tomatoes cook down a little while, and I guess we'll be back. Alright, I'm back. This tomatoes been cooking down for about a half hour, so normally I'd cook that a lot longer, but all the meals you see me cook, I'm cooking for my lunch. So I eat lunch around 11:30. So I got to get it done by that time, and I didn't start as early as I wanted today. But the whole time I've been scraping and stirring in this pot while I was off camera. Next we're going to add a can of tomato sauce. There we go. And we're going to rinse that out a little bit with a little bit of seafood stock. Get all that tomato goodness out of there, you know. There we go. Come on. There we go. Stir all that around in there, and hopefully I won't have to stir it so much no more. Oh, that done pretty, yeah. Look at that. My. Now this whole time that catfish has been sitting there with that seasoning on it, so hopefully that's sunk in pretty good. Now we're going to let this cook down for another half hour to 45 minutes. Maybe a little longer, just depending. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and add me a couple of little herbs there. Some thyme. Not too much. And a little bit of dill. I like dill and seafood. Something tell me I better put my hand in the way of that before it all come out at one time, because it's having a hard time coming out. That ought to do it. And I got that fire down to low right now. So, there we go. Put my spoon on my little holder. I'm going to put the lid on that. We're gonna leave that on low, and we're gonna let that cook down for, like I said, about a half an hour. And I'll be going in that pot and stirring occasionally, make sure it don't burn or stick or nothing. But we'll be back. Okay, that's been cooking for not quite half an hour. And I've been jumping in there about every 5 minutes, stirring it so it don't stick or burn, which it does stick a little bit. We don't want it to burn. Now you can see how thick that is. We don't want it that thick. And of course I steamed up my glasses again. Can't see nothing. We're going to start adding some seafood stock. Now you can make your own with fish, with shrimp tails and stuff, but I didn't have none, and I would have done it. But as usual, I don't measure. We're just going to pour a little at a time until we get the consistency we want. And then we're going to let that simmer a while. You know, I really hate that I have to give up this show, but I just can't force myself to compromise on my recipes. If I can't use the ingredients that I like to use, then I'm just not going to do it. Hopefully I'm going to have enough of this stuff. If not, we're going to have to use the dreaded water. I'm thinking it's going to take all of what I got. I got about a half a box of this. Wish that I had a little more. But I really wasn't planning too much on cooking this. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Because it's been a while since I've done a show and I was feeling guilty. I know I got people out there that wait for me to do a show. That's you, Jen. But, like I said, everything I cook, I gotta eat. I can't just cook food to throw it away. Yeah, it's going to take this whole thing. Because I don't want it too thick. But I don't want it too runny either. Yeah, it's getting about right there. Still a bit thick. And that's the end of that. I wish that I had a little bit more. But I think this might cut it. Yeah, that'll do it. I like this. Once I get it all mixed up good. There we go. Alright, we're going to make do with that. And if we got to, we'll throw a little bit of water in there to thin it out more if we need to. But for now, I think that's going to do it. And I got that fire on low still. We're going to go ahead and let that simmer for about another half an hour. Throw in our catfish. And with the catfish roll, let that cook maybe 5 minutes. You know, you don't want that stuff to break apart too bad. And we're going to serve that over rice with some corn. So, let that do its thing and we'll be back. Okay, that sauce has been cooking for about a half an hour and I've had to stir like every 5 minutes. It's looking good though, I'll give it that. While I was off camera, I went ahead and I took that catfish and I cut that into little, well not little tiny, but into chunks. Now we're going to just dump that in there and I'll add a little more seasoning. And stir that around and see what we look like. Oh, that's definitely a pot full. We're going to have some good eating tonight. Tonight, this afternoon. Now, it's 11:02. And I got that fire turned super, super low. Let me kick it back up to low. Now I'm just going to leave the lid off and get my corn going. Okay. Let that simmer down. Stir it a little bit. I may have to thin this out a little bit more. Let me see. I got my little thinning cup. I think we just add 1 little cup of that water there. I hate adding water to stuff, but I don't got no more seafood stock. And we don't want it too thick, you know. But it's sure looking good. I ain't done a courtbouillion in ages. It might take a little longer than 5 minutes. Those were some nice chunks. In the meantime, that's going to splash all over my stove. I'm going to have to clean that thing again. That's the only bad part about making stuff with tomato gravy. It splashed all over the stove. That's simmering pretty dadgum good there. On there, catfish. I don't want to stir it too much, but I can't help myself. I think just a little bit more water. Still kind of thick there. Yeah, that done it. That good enough right there. Don't want it too thin either. Want it, yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, ain't too much I can do with this for right now. Except watch it cook. So, we're going to put that lid on that. Let it simmer for a couple of more minutes. And we'll be back. Okay, we back. I've let that cook for 10 minutes. That catfish is done. Stir that around a little bit and turn that fire off. And the corn's still heating up, but we're going to head for the table and see how good that tastes. Be back in a bit. All right, there's that nice plate of food. And we got my brother there fixing to give us his verdict on it. Let's see what he thinks.
Hot. But good.
I think he means temperature-wise.
Yes.
All right, let me get in there now and see if what I can taste.
That's good.
The catfish ain't overcooked, is it?
Not.
All right.
You're wrong.
Let me try that. Hold on. I gotta do something first.
I don't like yourself eating.
All right. Let me take a little bite of that, see what I think of it. Like you said, hot. But no, it's got a really good taste to it. I wish I could have cooked them tomatoes down a little bit more, but hopefully we won't get too much heartburn off that. Well, you can see what I got to do.
No time for talking, eating to be done.
I got to finish up that plate of good old Catfish Courtbouillion, and I'll see y'all as soon as I can. Thanks for watching another edition of Sky's Cajun Kitchen.